Yo, 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 I be dropping some VARS in this house, mother fudders. So anyways, I've been working on my little notes app here. This is the project that I'm working on with Django. And basically the idea is, what if we can create a social media platform for people who like to talk to themselves? Yeah, I'm that Aspie. Yeah, it's a social media platform for, when you want to talk to yourself. Anyways, I've been talking about this for a bit, been playing with this for a few days now. Created the tag cloud, right? So we have a tag cloud here. If we click on tags, we get to see, what notes have those particular tags in them. And so right now, what I want to do is I'm trying to create a search functionality, right? So if I put in, let's say CSS and split. Let's say I'm trying to find something that both says CSS and split. I can hit enter, and this doesn't actually work out quite how I want it to right now because it gives me split or CSS, and that's what I'm going to be working on today. I need something with split and CSS. Basically, I spent yesterday figuring out every way not to do this particular function, and today I'm just going to sit down and do the function the way I thought about doing it to begin with. But one of the things you'll notice up here, is some var dumps. And this is very important, especially if you're going to be a new technology professional. One of the things that you need to do is you need to start figuring out how to test your projects, in basically different segments so that you understand what's going on with your project and you understand why it might be failing, right? So basically this right here, right? When we see CSS and split, what this is showing me is the query. That's what I put in there, right? So one of the important things to understand is if this fails, if this isn't showing up for some reason, is your script actually getting the query and being able to process the query the way that you think it should, right? So that's the first thing. CSS and split. Then the next thing here, right? This is actually the query set that gets returned when the Django basically does the search against the database to find if anything matches either CSS or split, right? And so basically with these, I can say, okay, the text that I'm sending to my script is being grabbed by the view that I'm sending it to, and it's being turned into variable values, and it's being sent back to me, so I can feel pretty comfortable with this. This is the query set, so I can take a look at the query set and be like, okay, that looks about how it's supposed to be. So we have an ID of 17 here. We have an ID of 18 here. This looks, owner Eli, tag CSS. Okay, that all looks pretty decent. Now, why this is important is I was having a bugger of a time yesterday, because yesterday I was doing this function in every way other than the way you're supposed to do it. Again, one of the big problems when you're learning new technology is what you want to do? You know how you would have solved the problem with a different technology, but you're using this particular technology. And see, the issue that I was running into is I would just get, for as many words as I had, I would just get essentially blanks. It would just simply say at, and then it would say edit, and then it would say line, and then it would repeat based off of how many words I had. I was like, crap, what the hell's going on? And so what I did, right? So I added, we look at my views, we can see that we create the notes value that's going to get sent and the query value that's going to get sent. And so basically I added the query and the notes here so I could understand what was going on. And what I found was this. One of these things is not like the other. So, in my stupidity, right? And so this is the kind of result that I would get, right? At edit. That's all that was coming up. And I couldn't figure out why. And the reason is because I was inputting the results of the query set into a list. So the query set, as a whole query set, then became part of a list. And so the Django template didn't know how to deal with it. So The text that I sent was getting received, was getting processed, was being able to given back to me. It was creating a query set, and I was able to get the results of the query set. But how I was doing it basically put that query set within a list, and then once it was within a list, the template didn't know what the hell to do with it, and so that's why we got what we got. And again, that's a big thing like in the coding and the technology world. The difference between this and this is the difference between whether something will work or will not work. And this is the other big thing too with understanding technology. Understanding, like once you get this result, understanding that result is a problem. Like, oh, that's not what it's supposed to look like. So anyways, there you go. Some thoughts on dumping the VARs. And also just on troubleshooting processes. Again, one of the things that I'll say about the U.S. Army is almost all the technology I learned in the U.S. Army, it has no relevance, and had no relevance in the civilian world in the 90s, and sure as hell has no relevance now. But one of the best things that they taught us was how to troubleshoot. The actual process of troubleshooting was one of the most valuable skills. Like that's the greatest thing in the world, right? Learning technology is its own thing, but learning how to troubleshoot, that is just a massive skill. And so this is the kind of thing that you need to start figuring out, as a technology professional or wannabe technology professional, is how can you add testing routines into your project or into your work so that you can get a better idea of what is actually occurring. Again, if a computer can't get out to the internet, why is that? Can you ping something? Can you ping an IP address? If you can ping an IP address, that means you have network connectivity. Can you ping a fully qualified domain name, a CNN.com or server or something like that? If you can ping server, but you can't ping CNN.com, that means your local DNS is working, but there's something mucked up with your external, your internet-based DNS, right? And so going through those troubleshooting routines is a very, very important task. I did an interview, again, 20 odd years ago with HP, their enterprise division. And one of the interesting things is when I was interviewing, the guy threw a pen over to me and he said, pretend that this is a flashlight and pretend that that when you hit the power button, the flashlight does not turn on. How would you troubleshoot that flashlight? Now think about that. He wasn't asking me about Active Directory. He wasn't asking me about RAM or any of that kind of thing. He was like, hey, here is a metaphorical flashlight. How would you troubleshoot that? So there you go. Some things to be thinking. When you get confused with coding, dump some VARs, make sure you actually know what you're looking at, because again, that's going to determine where you're going to try to solve your problem. So anyways, I'm gonna keep working on this project with a little peanut on my lap. If you like this kind of content, give it a thumb up. If you don't like it, give it a thumb down. Do remember, YouTube does not care if the interaction is healthy, so long as it's an interaction. So long as Susan W gets paid, that's all she cares about, right? So give us an interaction. Subscribe, comment, do all that kind of stuff. We're almost near 1,000 subscribers on this channel. I'm not sure what that really matters, but I don't know. I guess that's an impressive thing. So make sure to subscribe if you're here. And anyways, with that, I've got some work to do. See y'all later.